The galaxy was a place of wonder, filled with countless planets, beautiful stars, and many different creatures. But now it was a place of fear. The Zarkonians, a race of powerful and ruthless warriors, were on the move. They were known for their terrifying strength and advanced technology, and they had one goal: to conquer every planet in their path. For years, the Zarkonians had been invading planet after planet. They arrived in massive ships that blotted out the sun. When they landed, they unleashed their soldiers, fearsome beings with weapons that could destroy anything. Whole worlds fell under their control. Once thriving cities turned to rubble, and the cries of the innocent echoed in the silence of space. The Zarkonians took everything they wanted, leaving nothing behind but fear and destruction. As word of the Zarkonian attacks spread, panic gripped the galaxy. Leaders from many planets met in secret to discuss what could be done. They were frightened. No one had ever been able to stop the Zarkonians. As they plotted their next steps, the leaders of Earth received alarming news. Reports from distant planets detailed the horrors caused by the Zarkonians. The people of Earth felt a chill run down their spines. In a hidden military base on Earth, scientists and military leaders were working on a top-secret project. They were aware of the growing threat and had been preparing for years. This project aimed to create the ultimate soldiers, stronger and smarter than anyone else. These soldiers were genetically enhanced and trained in the art of combat. They were ready to defend their home against any enemy. Captain Sarah Rhodes was the leader of this special group. She was brave, skilled, and determined to protect her planet. She had spent years preparing for this moment, training hard and learning everything about strategy and combat. Captain Rhodes believed that humanity had a chance to fight back against the Zarkonians. She gathered her team of elite soldiers, each one hand-picked for their unique abilities. They were ready, but they needed to be quick. The Zarkonians were getting closer every day. As the Zarkonian ships entered Earth's orbit, a sense of urgency filled the air. The soldiers felt a mix of fear and excitement. They knew that they were humanity's last hope. Captain Rhodes stood before her team, her voice steady and confident. "This is our moment," she said. "The Zarkonians think we are weak, but they do not know what we are capable of. We will fight for our home and show them that humans are not to be underestimated." With those words, the soldiers felt a surge of courage. They prepared their weapons and got ready for battle. Captain Rhodes led them to the war room where they planned their strategy. They studied the Zarkonian ships and their weapons, looking for any weakness they could exploit. Together, they devised a plan to take the fight to the enemy. As the Zarkonian fleet hovered above, their ships gleaming menacingly in the darkness of space, the soldiers felt a mix of fear and determination. The Zarkonians had destroyed countless worlds, and their reputation was terrifying. But Captain Rhodes believed that humanity could stand up to them. The soldiers gathered around a holographic map, their faces lit by the blue light. They discussed tactics and made final preparations, knowing that they might not return. Finally, the moment arrived. The soldiers boarded their advanced warship, ready to face the Zarkonian threat. Captain Rhodes took a deep breath, her heart pounding. She looked at her team, each one ready to fight for their home. As the ship launched into the vastness of space, they all knew they were about to make history. The galaxy would remember this day, not as the day of their defeat, but as the day humanity stood up against the most feared race in the universe. The Zarkonian ships loomed above Earth like dark clouds. Their sleek silver hulls sparkled ominously in the sunlight, and the sound of their engines rumbled in the atmosphere. Across the planet, people looked up in fear, knowing that the invaders had arrived. But in a secret military base, Captain Sarah Rhodes and her team were ready to fight. As the soldiers gathered in the war room, tension filled the air. They knew this would be their first battle against the Zarkonians, and their hearts raced with a mix of excitement and fear. Captain Rhodes stood before her team, her expression serious but confident. "This is it, everyone," she said. "We are about to face the most powerful enemy in the galaxy. But we have trained for this moment. We will show them that humans can fight back." The soldiers cheered, their spirits lifted by their captain's words. They had trained hard, learning to work together as a team. Each member had a unique skill that would help them in battle. Some were expert marksmen, while others specialized in strategy and tactics. Together, they were ready to take on the Zarkonians. Captain Rhodes led her team to the launch bay where their warship waited. The ship was unlike anything else on Earth. It was fast and powerful. equipped with advanced weapons designed to take on the Zarkonian fleet. As they boarded, the soldiers took their places, securing their gear and preparing for takeoff. The atmosphere was charged with energy, each soldier knowing that this fight would change everything. Once the ship was airborne, Captain Rhodes took a deep breath and focused on her mission. "All right, team," she said over the intercom. "We are heading into battle. Stay sharp and follow my lead. Our goal is to disrupt the Zarkonian fleet and protect our planet." The ship shot into the sky, quickly leaving the atmosphere behind. The soldiers watched as the Zarkonian fleet filled the screen in front of them. Hundreds of ships surrounded the planet, their weapons glowing ominously. The sight was terrifying, but it also fueled the soldiers' determination. As they approached the Zarkonian ships, the tension grew. The Zarkonians noticed the human ship and opened fire. Red beams of energy shot towards them, but Captain Rhodes expertly maneuvered the ship, dodging the blasts. The soldiers felt a rush of adrenaline as they engaged their enemies. "Return fire!" Captain Rhodes shouted, and the ship's weapons fired back, striking a Zarkonian ship and causing it to explode. The battle raged on, with both sides exchanging fire. The humans were outnumbered, but their training and teamwork made them strong. Captain Rhodes led her team with courage, calling out commands and guiding them through the chaos. They worked together seamlessly, each soldier knowing exactly what to do. In the heat of battle, one of the soldiers, Private Jake, spotted an opportunity. "Captain! There's a weak spot on the Zarkonian ship to our left," he shouted. Captain Rhodes quickly assessed the situation. "All right, aim for that spot," she ordered. The team focused their fire on the weak point, and to their surprise, it exploded, sending debris flying. The Zarkonian ships began to panic. They were not used to facing such fierce resistance. The humans' bravery was surprising them. Captain Rhodes saw the tide of battle starting to shift. "Keep pushing forward," she urged her team. "We can win this!" As the battle continued, the Zarkonians tried to regroup, but it was too late. The humans had found their rhythm, working as one unstoppable force. They destroyed ship after ship, each victory boosting their confidence. Captain Rhodes felt a sense of pride as she watched her soldiers fight with all their hearts. Finally, the last Zarkonian ship in the immediate area fell to their fire. Cheers erupted in the ship as the soldiers celebrated their first victory. Captain Rhodes allowed herself a small smile. They had done the impossible. They had fought back against the galaxy's most feared enemy. But as they took a moment to breathe, the alarms blared. More Zarkonian ships were on their way, and the battle was far from over. Captain Rhodes knew that this was only the beginning. They had proven themselves today, but the real challenge was still ahead. "Get ready, team!" she called out. "We've got more work to do." After their stunning victory against the Zarkonians, Captain Sarah Rhodes and her team returned to Earth as heroes. The soldiers felt proud and energized, knowing they had done something incredible. But while they celebrated, they knew that the fight was far from over. The Zarkonian fleet was vast, and they needed more allies to stand a chance against such a powerful enemy. In the days that followed, news of the humans' bravery spread quickly throughout the galaxy. Planets that had once been too afraid to act began to take notice. Leaders from distant worlds sent messages of support and admiration. Many had watched the humans fight back and realized that if they stood together, they might have a chance against the Zarkonian threat. Captain Rhodes and her team worked tirelessly to connect with these leaders. They held meetings via hologram, speaking to representatives from different planets. Each leader shared their own stories of loss and fear caused by the Zarkonians. The soldiers listened intently, knowing that their experiences were not unique. Many planets had fallen under the Zarkonians' brutal rule, and now they all sought freedom. One day, a message arrived from a planet called Varan. The leader of Varan, a tall alien named Tarek, was known for his strength and bravery. Tarek had heard about the humans' victory and was eager to meet. "We must join forces," he said. "The Zarkonians think they can conquer us one by one. But together we are strong!" Excitement filled the air as Captain Rhodes and her team prepared to meet Tarek and his warriors. They organized a summit on Earth, inviting leaders from various planets to discuss how they could fight back against the Zarkonians. The team worked hard to make sure everything was ready for their new allies. On the day of the summit, the war room was buzzing with activity. Aliens from different races arrived, some with unique skin colors, others with strange features. Captain Rhodes welcomed them all, feeling a mix of nervousness and hope. Thank you for coming, she said. Together we can create a powerful alliance. We must work as one if we want to defeat the Zarkonians. Tarek stood beside her, nodding in agreement. We have all suffered under the Zarkonians. We know their tactics and weaknesses. Let us combine our strengths and plan a counterattack. The leaders gathered around a large table, discussing their strategies. They shared information about Zarkonian ships and weapons, each contributing their knowledge. Captain Rhodes was impressed by how quickly everyone began to collaborate. Each leader brought something valuable to the table, and together they formed a solid plan. As the discussions continued, they realized they needed to train together. The humans were skilled fighters, but they needed to teach their new allies about teamwork and tactics. Similarly, the aliens had unique abilities that could help in battle. They agreed to hold joint training sessions to build trust and unity among their forces. In the following weeks, the training sessions began. Captain Rhodes led her team in drills, teaching the aliens how to use human weapons and fight in formation. Meanwhile, the alien warriors shared their own combat techniques, introducing the humans to new skills and methods. They practiced day and night, becoming stronger together. During one training exercise, Private Jake teamed up with Tarek. They faced off against a mock Zarkonian attack, practicing how to work as a team. At first, they struggled to communicate, but soon they found a rhythm. They learned to anticipate each other's moves, and their confidence grew. "We make a great team!" Jake exclaimed, grinning at Tarek. As the weeks passed, friendships formed between the humans and their new allies. They shared meals and stories, learning about each other's cultures. The atmosphere shifted from fear to hope. Together, they were not just a collection of different races. They were a united force, ready to stand against the Zarkonians. Captain Rhodes watched with pride as the alliance grew stronger. She knew they were preparing for a significant battle ahead. With each passing day, they became more than just allies. They became friends and family, united by a common goal. As the training continued, a new determination filled the air. The coalition of humans and aliens was ready to take on the Zarkonian threat. They were no longer afraid. They were a powerful force, and together they would fight to protect their homes and their freedom. The battle was over, and the Zarkonian command ship was silent. Captain Sarah Rhodes stood at the control panel, her heart racing as she took in the scene around her. Her team had fought bravely, and now they had seized a significant victory. Together, they had shown the galaxy that humanity and its allies would not be defeated. The room was filled with the sounds of breathing and the occasional rustle of equipment. Zarkonian bodies lay scattered on the floor, their once mighty presence now reduced to a defeated memory. Captain Rhodes turned to her team, who were catching their breath, exchanging glances of disbelief and triumph. "We did it," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "We fought back and won!" Cheers erupted among the crew. Private Jake and Tarek high-fived, grinning from ear to ear. The weight of fear that had pressed down on them for so long was finally lifting. They had worked together, united as one force, and it had paid off. But even in the celebration, Captain Rhodes knew there was more work to be done. "We must send a message to the rest of the galaxy," she reminded her team. "The Zarkonians need to know that their reign of terror is over." The crew quickly got to work. They secured the command ship and set up communication systems to broadcast their victory. Captain Rhodes pressed a button and her face appeared on screens across the galaxy. "People of the galaxy," she began, her voice steady. "Today we have shown that the Zarkonian Empire is not invincible. Together we fought and defeated their forces. This is a new beginning for all of us. No longer will we live in fear. We will stand together as allies and fight for our freedom." As her words echoed through the cosmos, cheers erupted on many planets. Allies from across the galaxy listened, hearts swelling with hope. They had watched as the humans led the charge, and now they felt inspired to join the fight. In the control room, Tarek and Jake were already planning their next steps. "We should reach out to other planets that are still under Zarkonian control," Tarek suggested. "They need to know that we are here to help." Captain Rhodes nodded, appreciating the enthusiasm. "Let's use this victory to rally more allies. We can't let this moment slip away. The Zarkonians will regroup, and we need to be ready." With renewed energy, the crew worked together to send out messages to various worlds. They informed them of the victory and offered help for those still struggling under Zarkonian rule. Messages of support poured in from planets that were once afraid to act. They wanted to join the fight, to reclaim their freedom, just as the humans had. As the news spread, alliances formed. Groups of fighters began to gather, ready to take a stand against the Zarkonian Empire. Captain Rhodes could see the spark of hope igniting in the galaxy. This was the chance they had all been waiting for. Meanwhile, Captain Rhodes and her team prepared for the next phase of their mission. They would not just defend their homes, they would become warriors for justice. They had tasted victory, and they were ready to bring that fight to every corner of the galaxy. The ship became a hub of activity. Soldiers trained together, sharing knowledge and skills. Humans worked side by side with aliens, building stronger bonds as they prepared for the challenges ahead. They understood that unity was their greatest weapon. In the following weeks, the newly formed alliance launched several operations against remaining Zarkonian outposts. Each mission brought more victories, and with every win, their reputation grew. They became known as the Freedom Alliance, a symbol of hope for those still oppressed. Captain Rhodes found herself filled with pride. She had seen her team transform from a small group of soldiers into leaders and heroes. They had become a family, bonded by shared struggles and triumphs. They had faced the darkness and emerged stronger. Finally, they received word that the Zarkonian Empire was retreating. Their forces were disorganized, and many planets were ready to rise up against them. The time had come for a final push to end the Zarkonian threat once and for all. As Captain Rhodes looked out into space, she felt a sense of peace. They had fought for their freedom, and now they were on the path to a brighter future. She knew there would still be challenges ahead, but with her allies by her side, they were ready to face anything. This was not just the end of a battle, it was the start of a new beginning for the galaxy. Together, they would protect their homes, defend their rights, and ensure that no one would ever have to live in fear again. The future was bright, and they would face it together.